Hey guys, so we're going to start off training next week. There's 6 days left, but I want you all to please take some time out and watch this video. Maybe you can put it on the background and just listen to it. You don't really need to watch it, but if you can take some time out today and watch this video, this will be really amazing because I want to make sure that we are in the correct frame of mind before training starts. I want to let you all know what you can expect from training and the frame of mind, the mindset with which you need to come to training next week, this starting Tuesday. We are going to kick off the Train Like an Athlete Level 1 Foundation program. This is a 5 week program that I've created where you come with me to the gym where I train in Kharghar, Navi Mumbai, and I personally train you, assess your current athletic base and foundation, the qualities, the level of fitness that you have right now, introduce you to my style of training, and then within 5 weeks, also give you a projection of what we can achieve in the coming year. So this is a super important video. I want to first discuss with you guys the my body of work, what I've been doing, or what I do as a coach, as a professional, and as an athlete. I want to discuss with you the mindset that you need to come to training with that will be super important, pretty much the most defining metric of whether you have any sort of training success or no. And then also, I want to let you guys know what to expect from training, right? So I'll start off with a little bit of a background on myself. I am a hobbyist athlete. It's just that I take my hobbies very seriously. I treat myself as a professional. I train like a professional, but I'm a hobbyist athlete. I have always been involved in sports and athletics throughout my life. I started track and field pretty early. I've played football throughout my school life, and I played some high level track and field in the later years of my school as well. But I feel like personally, I never really did sports at a very high level, at the level that I could have. I had a lot of talent, but I lacked the discipline, focus, and resilience that you need as an athlete to do high level sports in school. So these are attributes that I have just learned when I started doing jiu-jitsu. And as soon as I got done with school, I started training as an endurance athlete. And I did a lot of that for a lot of years. And I started BJJ at 25 as well. So I'm pretty much always involved in sports. Right now I'm 27. So I've been training for the last 10 years. And in the last 10 years that I've been training, I've overcome a lot of injuries myself. So the very reason that I started training in the first place when I was a 17-year-old kid was because I had a lot of built up injuries from high impact sports, playing football, couple of hours every single day on a concrete pavement at a very fast speed in a very small area. So I just burnt my knees out, right? So I was dealing with that. That's why I got into the gym. But over the last 10 years, while I was doing the endurance races, while I've been doing BJJ, while I've been training, I've also successfully taken care of these chronic, pretty bad injuries. So Achilles tendonitis, patellar bursitis, I have a couple of lumbar disc compressions because of bad deadlifting and all these things. So these are all injuries that are successfully taken care of. So that's one of the reasons, because I feel like I did not do justice to my athleticism and my potential in school. So I want to do it now because more than anything else, I never want to have a I used to be conversation ever, right? I used to do this, I used to be that, I used to play that, and all those things. I want to talk about what I'm doing right now, right? So that's why I take my sports very seriously because time is precious and it's passing at a very rapid speed. So couldn't do it at a high level in school, no problem. I'm doing it right now. So I started training jiu-jitsu at 25. But before I was doing jiu-jitsu, I was doing a lot of endurance running. I've clocked in thousands of meters in elevation gain and thousands of miles in training over the last few years. And done a lot of 10Ks, a lot of 21Ks with a decent finish time. I've done a couple of ultra marathons, and a considerable portion of all of this running has been done on trails. At 25, I got introduced to Jiu-Jitsu, and in the last 1.1 year and few months that I've been training, I competed in a national level tournament, got a silver medal there. Just recently competed in an international level tournament and won in my weight category, got a gold medal in my weight category, and got a bronze medal in the absolute division category where people from all weight classes can fight. So and while I was doing all of this, I also maintained over the last 10 years, I've pretty much maintained a stable physique and stable weight, which has been hovering around 70 kgs. And I've kind of always looked the same since I was 17 till now, right? So I've obviously gotten a little bit more muscular and, just more ribbed over the years, just as a virtue of training maturity. but for the most part, it's kind of been constant. So this is what my last 10 years have looked like, and this is what my next 10-year goals are. I want to do a few cage fights. I want to get my black belt in jiu-jitsu. I want to contend for a world championship and get a medal, get a podium in some sort of a world championship in jiu-jitsu for my weight class and my age category. At some point, I also want to do an Ironman, and I want to climb a few very difficult mountains. So an Ironman, because I couple of years ago, before I started competing as a grappler, I actually put in an entire year of training into preparing for a half Ironman distance triathlon. But 1 week before the race was supposed to happen, I had a drowning accident in the lake that I was swimming in, and I couldn't do it. Like, it got pretty bad, and I had massive PTSD from that event. Couldn't do that event, and since then, I've actually not been back training and learning how to swim in open water bodies at all. So this is something that I want to get out of the way, because this has been a setback, and we can't let setbacks be setbacks. That's something about mindset that I want to talk about later into this video. But that's one of the primary reasons why I want to do an Ironman in the next 10 years. And the mountains, because I have a fascination around climbing mountains. I got introduced to mountaineering at a very, very early age. And ever since then, I feel like I have an aptitude, I have a little bit of a talent and the fascination to climb mountains, to do some amazing mountaineering. So don't know what these mountains are going to be. Are they going to be 6,000ers, 8,000ers? No idea. But at some point in the next 10 years, this is going to get done. That's me as an athlete. Now, this is a lot. Like I said, I take my sports and my hobbies pretty seriously, but this is not my profession. None of this is my profession. All of this is my hobby. This comes a close second to what is actually my profession, which is being a coach and helping other people achieve their athletic goals. So this is something that I'm very passionate about. So I have basically been documenting my own training, talking about my views, my thoughts, and sharing my insights on training on social media handles for a very long time. For the last 10 years, even before I got started as a coach, I had always been doing this. So people started gravitating towards me, asking me for advice in training. They knew me as the guy that was always training, right? So I got asked for training advice quite a lot. I started building a reputation as somebody that knows what they are doing when it comes to training, and this translated into a coaching career, which I have been doing for the last 5 years. So when I was growing up as a teenager, I was very fascinated by the way that strength and conditioning coaches were conducting these overseas athletic programs. Everything about the aspect of the way that these guys would train, right? The community, the big gyms, the achievement of big goals, and the top quality training, which was very different than what was being done in our country at that time. This is at a time when even things like CrossFit and functional training had not really taken off. So for the most part, the only idea that we had, that everybody had about training, was going to the gym and doing like a bodybuilding split of training. So this is when I realized that, this is something that we could get going out here and build a community around it, because there are athletes that want to train. And in my opinion, personally, I've always felt like training can be much more than just simply about getting a good physique. So that is how I found my calling in coaching. Last 5 years, I've been working as a professional coach, and last 4 of those 5 years, I have had a fitness coaching business. So primarily because of my interest areas and my niche, I my clientele basically has always comprised of people that want to train like athletes, kids that aspire to be athletes, and athletes that want to perform better. Usually, all these three types of people, all these three types of demos are dealing with some sort of complex injuries that they want, or roadblocks that they want to deal with. And they also have some ambitious goals that they want to achieve. So that is what I help people do. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that I have a very loyal clientele. Pretty much everybody that I've been training my entire customer base right now, a huge chunk of them have been with me for the last 3 years. And most of them have been training with me for more than a year, except for the people obviously that are starting this year. Everybody else has been training with me for more than a year. So there are a lot of different examples, but out of this, in the community around me, these are a few, I would say, client success stories. So Adarsh and Chris are good friends of mine. Uh, but these guys, both of these guys have been training with me for longer than more than 3 years. I started with Adarsh in 2021. I started with Chris. Chris was actually one of the first few kids that I started training in 2020. This is back when the kids that I was, not Chris, but the other kids that I were training were so young that the society gym would not allow us to go inside and train. So I just set up shop right outside the gym and we would train in the corridors of the society. So these guys have been training for a long time, and the very style of training that I'm going to put you all through right now is what I did for these guys. And interestingly enough, Adarsh and Chris both started doing this year. They both started doing jiu-jitsu around the same time with me. And within 2, 3 months of jiu-jitsu training, they said, you know what, fuck it, we're going to do the same national level competition that you're doing. So they took part in it and they fought a couple of fights, and one of them even won a medal. So it might not seem like a lot, but I want you to understand that first of all, it takes balls to compete at such a high level competition, let alone fight at such a high level competition, because grappling is a fighting sport. So, and you're always going against MMA athletes that have been, grinding and training for a lot more than you have, probably you have, who is a hobbyist. So it's an intimidating ordeal. And these guys were just able to do it on a dime on 2, 3 months of training. That is something that I feel like is impossible. Obviously, they are ballsy, they have big balls, but it's pretty much impossible to do if you don't have the amount of confidence that these guys have in their athletic base. And that confidence comes from doing athletic training consistently over a long period of time. The second example is of Jay, who is pretty much one of the first kids that I started training in 2020. So he's been training with me for 4 years now. When he started training, he was 10 years old. And pretty much like any other 10-year-old, he was pretty unathletic and, inexposed to training at all, pretty slow, pretty unathletic. But back then, we had set our goals, we knew what we had to do, and we aimed towards a specific goal that we both mutually had. And now at age 14, he just got selected, just got scouted for the Thane district team. And as I put this video up, this guy is leaving for a state level tournament in Sherpur. At age 14 is a pretty amazing feat. And there's no doubt that in the next decade, you're going to see Jay play at a world class team with a world class team at the international stage. There's just no doubt about it. Another example is my good friend Yasho Vardhan, who started training with me last year. And this January, this December, actually, we will finish 1 full year of training. So it's not even been an entire year of training. And this is a guy that walked into the gym, walked into my studio weighing 103 kgs. And he could not even do like a 2K without gassing out. In the last year that he's been training, he's lost 10 kgs of weight. And literally this last week, he crushed a 15K. So this guy suddenly, we had a training session planned that did not pan out. So this guy went out for a run, and I said, just take it easy today, go out for a normal run and do some cardio, get some cardio done. So this guy sends me a screenshot later on that he just on a whim just decided to do a 15K and just absolutely crushed it. So doing just going out and doing a 15K on a random Thursday is not possible. You cannot just do that just because of wishful thinking if you do not have an athletic base to support that kind of an activity. Even if you somehow manage to do a 15K, the kind of fatigue hole and the injuries that it is going to create for you if you do it without consistent training is going to be extremely difficult to climb out of. But what we are talking about is a random 15K on Thursday, Friday you relax, Thursday, Saturday you rest, maybe play some football, Monday you're back to training. So this just literally happened last week. But I'm not really doing something cutting edge or completely new over here. What I'm simply doing is taking a template that works for athletes and using it to train these people. But what is different here in this case, and the key reason for these guys' success is their mindset and the way in which they have approached training over the last 2, 3 years. And I want to talk to you guys about it. So, number one is this concept of micro consistency and macro patience. And this is literally on the opposite end of how usually people approach training right now. So you want to understand that when you step into training and do the kind of training, especially that I am going to make you do, and the kind of training that results into goals like this, you will understand that these are all outcomes that compound over long periods of time is completely different than what the fitness industry will have you believe and is selling to you right now, which is a short term, instantly gratifying goal. Like, okay, lose all your body weight in 3 months, transform your physique in 3 months, do this 90-day challenge, 60-day challenge, 3 month winter arc or whatever. Training is not that. Training is not something that you can do and get instant gratification out of. And this is something that all athletes, everybody that aspires to be an athlete, they must understand this. You will see that all athletes actually embody this. And this is true that you need micro consistency and you need macro patience. In the micro, you need to be consistent. Doesn't matter whether it's a good workout, bad workout, satisfying workout, unsatisfying workout, a period where you feel like you're not making any progress, a period where you feel like your training is actually hurting you and setting you back. No matter what happens, you have to be consistent in the micro. And if you are consistent in the micro and if you are patient enough, then in the long term, you can you can rest assured that your fitness and your performance and your athleticism is going to compound exponentially. It's pretty much exactly like your wealth portfolio, right? What do they say about investing in stocks? That if you cannot expect amazing, unhinged returns in a short span of time. But if you are patient enough and if you keep making those consistent deposits on a regular basis, time will pass anyway, but if you keep making those deposits over a long enough time scale, your wealth and your stock portfolio is going to compound exponentially. It's going to gain escape velocity. That's exactly how fitness and performance and athleticism works. Which brings me to my second point. The second most important mindset that you need to have is to be an optimist, is to be optimistic about training, right? You need to always look at all the obstacles that you're facing as a set of opportunities that basically will unlock and hack growth for you. So, in my own experience in training and in life in general, I've seen that people can either be optimists and pessimists. Sometimes they'll tell you they are realists in nature, but you can either be pessimistic about something or you can be optimistic about something. Pessimists are always going to feel like things are being done to them, that they cannot do certain things because of their circumstances. And right, when it comes to training, pessimists are always looking for instant gratification. Like they want some sort of tangible success that they can feed off of within a couple of months. And if that doesn't happen, then they don't stick around. They switch programs. So we have a term in the fitness industry which is known as the program hopper. So program hopper are people that are chronically pessimistic, people that are chronically stuck in the very bad loop of just switching programs every 3 months. So they never are able to cross that honeymoon period of a training program where you actually see something through for long enough, you're patient for long enough to get some sort of a result out of it. So they can never do that. But that's one kind of people, and then the other kind of people are obviously optimists. So people that look at setbacks, first of all, they are consistent in the micro and they are patient in the macro. And whenever they are faced with obstacles, right? They have a lot of acceptance around those obstacles. Obstacles in training being injury, setbacks, uncontrollable things that might happen to you. But they look at these obstacles, they accept their situation, and then they try to see the silver lining in it. Okay, if this is an obstacle, this is a setback, what can I learn from it? Right? In combat sports and in sports in general, we say that you can either win or you can come back with knowledge. Right? You come back with a win or you come back with a learning. That's it. There are no losses. So that's a very important mindset that escapes a lot of people, but a lot of people have it. But if you are going to want to train like an athlete and actually be an athlete and embody what it means to be an athlete and do all the things that you feel like doing, right? Then you need to be optimistic. You need to look at obstacles and understand that they simply represent opportunities that can hack growth, right? And you need to be consistent in the micro and you need to be patient in the macro. You need a lot of patience because training is a long-term game. Which brings me to the my third point, which is that ambition actually unlocks growth. So out here in my community, especially, you should hear some of the things that these guys want to do, right? And it will sound absolutely delusional to you. But over here, delusional confidence and delusional ambition is absolutely welcome. You are not going to be judged because of it. So, people have realized everyone has a little bit of ambition. Some people, I have made peace with it and they have no fear in expressing what their ambitions are because they are also able to back it up with the kind of work that is required to, fulfill those dreams. But a lot of people, because of, not having good mentorship throughout life, not having, you know, having a lot of self-doubt, not having a lot of self-efficacy, being underconfident. People are never really able to become self-aware about their own ambitions, or they're never able to speak their ambitions out loud to other people, right? But you got to understand that motivation, like this sort of a mindset where you are comfortable with your ambition, where you are confident about achieving something, that only comes with training, right? You need proof of work to feel confident. That is very important. Without proof of work, you cannot fake having ambition because that's only going to take you so far, right? I can talk about everything that I want to do as much as I want, but if I don't have proof of work, and then the time comes for me to actually do what I said I've always wanted to do, then I'm not going to be able to do it, no matter how ambitious I am. But being ambitious in the first place is how it begins. So sharing what you want to do with me, uh, expressing your thoughts, expressing your dreams is very important because once you start expressing those thoughts, we can help make those thoughts more coherent. If you have a lot of coherence around what your ambitions are as an athlete, then we can help you that, embody those feelings. And once you start embodying those feelings, that's how it starts manifesting into real life. That's how these things are achieved. So the Train Like an Athlete program is just basically an embodiment of all of these things. More than anything else, like I said, what I'm going to do in this program in terms of the actual training that we do is I'm going to follow the exact roadmap that I followed for myself and the athletes. The exercises and the training is not going to be exactly the same because everybody needs different things. But in terms of the roadmap, the guidelines, the journey, I have a very good idea of what needs to be done to take you from where you are right now and help you build to a level where you want to be in the next 2 years, right? So our goal is to make sure that in the next 2 years, your athletic potential just skyrockets. That can be done if we have these three things in place. If you're consistent in the micro, patient in the macro, if you have an optimistic mindset, if you have the mindset that looks at obstacles and only see them as opportunities for progress, and if you're comfortable with your ambition, if you can share your ambition with me and let me know exactly what it is that you have in mind for yourself as an athlete, if you come to training with this mindset, then I will give you the exact roadmap that I followed for the people and help them achieve all kinds of amazing goals in terms of athletes and overcoming all kinds of different injuries. Right. And that's what the Train Like an Athlete program is all about. The Train Like an Athlete program is obviously a much, much, much bigger paradigm, a much bigger program over a much longer time scale. But the next few weeks are absolutely crucial, right? Because if we do not have a crystal clear idea of where you are at right now, the constraints that you're working with right now, and the positive attributes that you can work with and that you can leverage at the moment, if we do not have a crystal clear idea of that, how can we ever project where you can go and at what rate you can reach to that level, right? So, setting goals, no matter how ambitious they are, all comes down to first of all having understanding exactly where you're starting. And that is what the level one, the first 5 weeks of the Train Like an Athlete program is about. This is where I assess your current ability, give you a detailed assessment of your current ability. I introduce you to my training style, right? So you might have done some level of training on your own, different points of life here and there, but I trust me, you've not done training the way I train, right? The way I coach training, you've not done it, and it's very interesting. It's very fun. It's a whole different level of training. So it's going to be super interesting, but I want to introduce you to my training style because once I introduce you to my exercises, my training style, then we can start building upon it. But it's crucial that this introduction is done in the first 5 weeks. So you know what? A lot of people actually overestimate what can be done in a couple of months and they underestimate what can be done in a decade. This is a very important quote that I read somewhere. But first 5 weeks is not enough for me and you to bring about some sort of an extreme transformation in your athletic ability or your physique or something. But the first 5 weeks, if done properly, if used properly, can give you an exact assessment of what your current ability is, can introduce and set a good foundation of this new style of training that we will be doing, and can give you an appropriate projection of how much progress you can hack and unlock in the coming year. Right. And if you have those things in the first 5 weeks, I feel like that is that is invaluable. So I want to welcome you all to the Train Like an Athlete journey. It's going to be super, super, super interesting. Like I said, as if I can help it, if I can help it, I want this to be the last time that you ever switch a program and the last time that you ever get a coach. So this program starts 5th November. The capacity is 20 slots. I can accommodate 20 people because, like I said, I'm going to be paying a lot of personal attention to all the training. So I cannot, over the different time slots that we have, I cannot accommodate more than 20 people because I cannot be, paying personal attention to 100 people. That's just not possible. So out of these 20 slots, 10 have already been filled. And I am actually giving everybody an offer. The first five payments, they get a 1,500 rupee discount and they only have to pay 3,500 bucks for the level one foundation program that is going to last for 5 weeks, starting on 5th November, ending on 5th December. But this is only for the first five people. Now, this does not mean that you cannot, if you are not in the first five people, you cannot join the program. You can obviously pay the full price of the program, which is a 5,000 bucks, and still do the program if you are in the 20 people, if you make it to the 20 people roster. And trust me, this roster is going to fill out very soon. So if you're in the first five, three people have already actually made the payments. So we only have two slots left if you want to avail the discount. So I suggest that you join our group, you make the payment, and you confirm your slot, right? You can message me with any questions or doubts that you have, and I'm going to attach a link in the description of this video, link that you can use to directly join our WhatsApp group. As soon as you join the WhatsApp group, just type in I'm in or I want to join the program and I'll send you all the details of the program. And once you have all the details of the program, all you need to do is make a payment, make a decision, confirm your slot. I'm going to see you for training coming Tuesday on the 5th of November. The link to join the group is in the description. I'm super excited to start off this program. This was a little bit of a presentation on the kind of mindset that I want you to understand that this will be required in training, right? Because you're not going to see results very soon. You're going to have to spend a lot of time. You need to understand what is the scope of training in the first 5 weeks. You can trust me that you will come across a lot of obstacles in training that you will have to overcome. There will be a lot of excuses for not showing up to training, but you will have to find that one excuse to show up. And you will need ambition. You will need to be comfortable with the fact that it is okay to speak your mind in terms of what it is that you want to do as an athlete, no matter how underconfident or how much doubt you have right now about, what your current status is. Wherever you are, if a 103 kg guy can train for a year, lose 10 kgs and crush a 15K, if if these couple of guys can, on a whim decide to start to train for a couple of months and then compete in a national championship. And no matter what problems you're dealing with, trust me, we can take you from where you are and get you to a level where you want to be. So exciting, exciting journey ahead. And I'll see you guys all next week for training. But I hope you all watch this video. If you're already in the group, amazing. Make sure you do your payment, secure your spot, get your discount if that's still available at the time that you make the payment. If you are already in the group and already made the payment, then congratulations and welcome on board. I'll see you guys next Tuesday for training. And this entire week, I'm going to be doing videos like this and giving you guys everything that I think you should have so that you're well prepared for the training week. We're going to talk nutrition, rest, recovery, preparation, mindset, everything. We'll cover all the bases. Like I said, if you have any questions, please message me and you can communicate on the group. And if you have not joined the group yet, then the group joining link is in the bio, is in the description of this video. Join the group, say that you're in, make the payment. If you're in the first five slots, you get a discount. Otherwise, if not, no problem, do the full payment, and I'll see you guys for training next week.